harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zeimet.
Hello and welcome to the Beverly Zeimet Show, where being the best you has just gotten easier. My guest today is Carol Deakter, and she is Deakter.
Anne Shoshana Deakter.
Okay, what she said. So, where are you calling in from today, Anna?
I'm calling in from Boca Raton, Florida. Where are you, Beverly?
Oh my gosh, I'm in Denver, Colorado.
Nice.
You're the
Nice.
second person that I talked to from Boca Raton. The same place. How crazy. Today. And that's today already. It's like, must be in the stars.
Boca's beautiful. I've skied Colorado. Love it. So,
I've been in Boca Raton. I love it down there. It's just, the energies are good. The atmosphere, I love it. I love it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I actually lived in Okeechobee for about 4 months a few years ago.
What did you do there?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's just not even something that, it's kind of off of all of our radars, but
Yes,
don't
it
let
is.
don't let anybody hear me say that, because I think I'd get in a lot of trouble for that.
Oh my gosh, I thought I fell back into some ancient century. You know?
Really?
Oh my gosh, it was so, yeah, it was different. It was different. I went down to actually help a guy, take care of his house because he was getting some things getting done on it, right? Some work with it. And he needed somebody there to kind of keep an eye over things. And I was going to be in Florida at my brother's anyway, up by Orlando. And he said, I got really good internet. Can you just go down there for a few months? So I did. But I did meet some really beautiful people there that are still friends today, which is nice. So that's always the fun thing about traveling, because I've been on the road since '97, just bopping around wherever my little heart takes me. And
Yeah, you make friends. You have a boyfriend in every port, right? I mean, it's a great feeling.
yeah, I don't have time for that.
Well, it's just a vernacular. It's not. I don't mean that
Right.
exactly, but you know what I'm
Right.
talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can say, yeah, you get a guy in every port, and 2 if it's fun, right? So, but I have met some of the most beautiful people just traveling, but also being on the show. My gosh, it's just been amazing, the people that have come to the show and what we talk about, being that best you that you can be. And that was one of the things that drew your attention, because you have a book that's really kind of says it all. So, Anna, why don't you go ahead and share with the audience what your book is all about?
So the book is called "You Aren't Here to Be Good. You Are Here to Be Better: How to Reclaim Hope, Purpose, and Fulfillment in a World Gone Crazy." And it was born of a journey of many, many, many years. And like most people, I've had major wake-up calls in my life, major challenges. And that song, "What doesn't break you makes you stronger." And
Yeah.
there's many of us. It's a choice. I've been talking a lot about choices. So I'm a professional speaker, author, and I coach. People come to me because they really want to know, what is my purpose in life? Because I want to live the life that lights me up. And they instinctively know that they're here for a greater than purpose, but they don't know what it is. And there are universal rules and tools that, if we just know them, unfortunately, we're not born with a guidebook. That's why.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is so true.
Right? We're not born with that guidebook. So through my many challenges, it just led me down a path and learning universal wisdom for 26 years that I put into a book, because by the demand, my clients, my students, they all said, you know what, we need to know what you're talking about. Put it into a how-to guide. How do I live the life, my best life? How do I be the best person I can be? Because in that journey is the place where we find fulfillment.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
everybody wants rule number one, the universal truth is that everybody wants to be full of light. Everybody, Beverly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. It's so true. I mean, I hear a lot of the same things that you're saying, from clients, and what you're saying is kind of describing some of my life, and where I started it, and it's that identity, to find who your true identity is. Then it helps you to easier be an expression of what your purpose is, to find that purpose. Because if you don't really know who you are, it's hard to say, what's my purpose, right?
Well, there's an ancient, I love this, I teach this in my book. It's an ancient wisdom that talks about tikkun. Tikkun is from the ancient holy language of Hebrew, and it means to fix.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. It's very, and it's a concept that is so powerful, because when you know what you're here to fix, what your tikkun is, that leads you right to your purpose in life. So
Yes.
everyone, and then of course is the premise and the understanding and the acceptance of that premise is that none of us are here blemish free. We're all born with something we need to fix. And I became very aware of this as I went through the many challenges in my life. And if you want, I can share with you the story, how I got here, etc. But when you understand that you're here for a purpose, and it's a global purpose, it's a purpose we all share.
Right.
To fix something. For some of us in my divorce, my first marriage, I realized now, looking back, that I had to fix a part of myself that wasn't standing for myself, that wasn't empowered. That part, I let this man walk all over me. So even looking back, like we're divorced 18 years, 20 years, looking back, I feel gratitude, because I learned such an incredible lesson, that divorce and the pain that I went through, being divorced with a 3-year-old, and the fighting, and it wasn't a happy divorce, that taught me how to grow a backbone. So I'm very grateful for that lesson. Every challenge we have in our life is a wake-up call. It's an opportunity for us to fix whatever we need to fix to grow into the best version of ourselves.
Right.
Not an easy thing to accept.
No, it's not. Doesn't taste good sometimes. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't even smell good sometimes. But, when you can move through that and come out the other side, you're saying, oh, I'm glad I went through that, because you think about what it would be if you were still there. And it's like, yeah, it was worth it. Right?
Well, the thing that I teach in the book, one principle is like a take-home message, is how do you move through this process of being the best you can be, is number one, none of us can do it by ourselves.
Oh, so agreed on that one. Yeah.
If you think you can, then someone else can sell you ice in Alaska.
They can say a bridge over the whatever, right?
It's not possible. You need to surround yourself with like-minded people
Yes.
who are on that same quest, that same journey to be the best they can be. And in today's day, with everything we've got going on with Zoom, look what we're doing together.
I know, it's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I never would have met you if I hadn't said, you know what? Just because the world has gone virtual,
Right.
I'm not going to stop talking about being the best you can be, living your purpose so that you can heal the world, so that we can bring balance and harmony back to our universe, so we can feel good and fulfilled and get up in the morning with a bounce in our step. Just because we're gone virtual and I can't go out there on an airplane and speak anymore, then I'm still going to find a way
To get the word out.
to live my God-given purpose,
Yeah.
which is to share this wisdom. And it just means we have to shift, right? Bob and
You look at how everything just blew up, on the social medias. As soon as everybody was in lockdown, all of a sudden everyone that was afraid to get on and do a Facebook Live, whoa, they're all over the place, right? And the reason why I started this show, which was prior to the pandemic, was that very same, what you just said, that very same thing, is to be able to get the word out and get it out further. So is it a blessing? Is it a curse? It's how you perceive it, right?
Well, that's the second thing I talk about, is that right now, and always, but right now, this pandemic has really forced our hand.
Yeah.
We've gone into lockdown. We have more time than we've had before to think about the things that really are important and what really matters.
Right.
And when we get to do that, we realize that it's a choice. We can choose to see the world through two lenses. The ancient universal wisdom calls it Oi Ashrei. Oi is the energy and the reality of victimhood. Why woe's me? Why is this happening to me? Ashrei is the reality of joy and happiness and hope and purpose and fulfillment. No matter what we're in right now, you need to see like you have two lenses, two sets of glasses.
Right.
Which pair of glasses are you going to put on in the morning?
So true.
I choose Ashrei. I choose joy.
Right.
I choose fulfillment. I choose hope. And we're going to see two people walking down the same street wearing two different pair of glasses. And this ties in with what I'm talking about. Our choice is to choose the people who are wearing the Ashrei glasses, who are choosing to walk in that reality. Because nothing can bring you down faster than someone who is negative.
Oh, that is so true. And the thing is too, when you're in that joy and that happiness and that feel good, right? It takes a lot less energy to stay in that upbeat position. So when you're over here playing the victim, being down, being in that negative state, in that negative frame of mind, and the whole woe is thou things, it takes a lot of energy. You can watch, and just by asking a few words, which side of the fence that they're on. Are they over here on this one, or are they over here on this one? Because their whole physiology just looks totally exhausted. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of energy to stay down than it does to stay up, right?
So true. It's so true. And that's why we feed off the energy of the people we surround ourselves, even if it's virtual.
Right.
Even if it's
it
virtual.
Doesn't matter. That's right.
What are we doing now? We're doing virtual networking. We're doing virtual business. We're doing everything virtual. So you can virtually connect. Look, go on Facebook. I'm constantly searching for groups and people who are all about the things I'm about.
Right. And there's more and more of them coming out. I tell you, every day I get at least one, if not 3 or 4 different groups to join, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's only so much you can do in a day, you know what I'm saying? And you talk about the virtual. Let's capitalize a little bit on virtual and what it means, because a lot of people think that what we do in our virtual, on one aspect it's virtual, but it's not true virtual reality. And my partner and I, we started a virtual reality networking group, like your chambers and your BNIs and lead generation and things like that. But it was all done in virtual reality, and we're talking those little avatars that jump around. Okay, so we went into the virtual reality world, and actually just this past weekend we launched our very, very first virtual reality vendor event. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We had, I think we had 26 vendors in there, right? And they all had their things on the table. We had authors, so they had their books on the tables.
Second, I'm having a little issue I got to take care of. 3 seconds. Sorry.
Okay. So while she's gone, I'll share a little bit more about what we're doing in the virtual reality world too, and how that can change. That's good. Change things in your life, when you're working through the virtual, whether it's a virtual little Zoom or virtual reality avatar world. But with the event that we had banners up, so you could, when you went through with your little avatar, you went through the event, you could click on the banner, would take them to a website. I had my show banner up there so they could register for the show, right? So you're capturing, leads, because that's what it's all about, You're interacting avatar to avatar. So it's more like that person to person touch than let's see, you're sitting over here and I'm sitting over here, right? But there's still that connection, but it's so much stronger. And with the psyche, it's like the psyche says, oh, that's a person. Whether it's an avatar person, it doesn't matter. There's someone right there next to you. So we had all the different booths where people had their wares and everything, which was a lot of fun, running around up and down. We actually had a stage, an outside stage. It's huge, beautiful stage. Oh my gosh. And so we had speakers that were on that stage, chairs out front, so everybody with their little avatars could come sit down in those chairs and listen to that speaker. We had Q&As. It was amazing.
It's the innovation and creativity that is being spawned right now.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's, challenge either makes you or breaks you.
Oh, that is so true. That is so true. And
that's why I call myself the resilience warrior coach.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. Yes, because it's a choice.
It is a choice. It is a choice.
I'm fighting. I'm going to fight for my light every chance I get.
Right.
And some people might feel intimidated by that. They don't like the word fight. I don't care what you want to call it. It's a choice.
It is a choice. You can either go with it or you can go against it. And I'm with you, choosing to go see my little light. Whoops, over there. Right back there. There's my little light. How do you get this? This is backwards. There it is. Yeah, because everything on that mirror thing is so backwards. It's crazy. Yeah, but like you said, it's so true. It is a choice. And change is going to happen. And it's going to happen with or without you. And what is it that you're going to do?
If people don't have a system, a way to handle change, then they're gonna flounder their whole life. And this is something I've been talking about with my 16-year-old, my youngest son. Is this pandemic, what we're going through right now is we got to make lemonade out of lemons.
Oh my gosh, I just talked to a gal. I don't know if you know Michelle Faust. That is her tagline, and she's written the book on it, making lemons out of lemonade. She is just marvelous. I love her. She's been on the show and got to really know her. So when you say that, making lemonade out of lemons, it's so true. And these times that we're going through right now are definitely a way to do that, right?
Unfortunately, the younger generation is not so skilled in that. And
no, they're not.
Because they live in a world of instant gratification, a world of I want it and I want it now. The video games, you want to
sure.
Hit somebody, boom, done. They're trained in a way. There's no I know I'm generalizing, but I'm just saying based on what I've seen in my practice, that we really need to lead the way now and show the generation what it means to put your pedal to the metal.
Oh yes, I agree.
Really dig deep and show them what it means to build, to create, and the stick with itness that it takes, and the commitment and the energy and the focus. And the most important thing they need to know is that you just put one step in front of the other. It's one step at a time.
One step at a time.
You need to know in your gut, your soul, your heart, you need to know what that feels like. They need to know. We need to start training people again how to work.
Yeah, how to work together. Cell phones have been great, but they've also created that separation because everybody's busy doing this, and playing games and doing whatever, that the human element kind of got lost. And then all of a sudden, this whole pandemic started and we were isolated. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, this can't be. I miss people, whatever. It's a whole different perspective on things. I hope that everything is, that really one of the greatest things that come out of it is that the family unit starts to come back into what it really means, where there's communication, open lines of communication between parents and families. And
I don't think it's going to happen unless people reach out for help. because what we're seeing now is an increase in abuse. We're seeing an increase in
Right.
we're seeing an increase in such family strife because there's really no guidance. There's no one, people don't realize that they need to learn how to be united, whether they need to learn how to be united at home, how to be united in the workforce, how to be united in society, community.
Right.
We need to put as much energy and time that we put into watching Netflix, we put
Right.
into that personal development and growth. And I'm so hoping and praying that this pandemic, this time, this full stop, people have been coming to that awareness. I'm not sure, I don't know, but this is where I'm
Well, the
guiding.
the change has to start exactly, what you say there. And, when you look at the generations, right? Now, your generation is different from my generation. Okay, I'm a baby boomer, okay?
So am I.
So we watch things go, right? And we've had generations, we've had a couple generations here where kids were taking care of kids because the moms had to work out of the home, right? Sometimes there were a lot of single moms, so daycare centers sprouted up all over. Well, who worked in those daycare centers? 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, that were also probably the latchkey kid generation that they came out of. So you have children raising children that don't have that solid foundation base, and it's like you mentioned, coming onto the show here is we don't have a manual, right? We don't have the manual to raising kids
Actually,
or ourselves, so.
We do. I found it. It's the spiritual universal wisdom that goes way back to Abraham and Sarah. It's there. We just have to
Find it again and get out of the way and start listening and paying attention. Yeah.
We've got to start paying attention and stop thinking that we know it all. Our egos, we know it all. I don't need any. I don't believe any of that stuff. I don't. Look, I'm not saying. All I'm saying is that the wisdom is there, and it's been
Yes,
there
it is.
thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We just have to get out of our own ego.
That I can agree with on you. Yes, definitely.
Think that we know it all. And I look at people and I say, and how's that working for you?
Right.
How's that going?
Right.
Like, all you have to see is the chaos in people's lives to know that they're not utilizing the tools that are at our fingertips, but our ego and this negative force within, I call it the bad guy. This bad guy doesn't want you to connect to positivity and light and the ancient wisdom that has all the answers to life's challenges.
Right.
It wants us to stay exactly where we are right now, mired in chaos.
Right. And you get into that comfort zone. Now, that comfort zone can be miserable or it can be happy, but it's your comfort zone and it's predictable. And I think a lot of people like to stay in that predictability because what if it's worse? I like to say, but what if it's better? What if you make it what you want it to be instead of what it's already been?
It's funny you're saying that, because another tip I share with people is that the term abracadabra, you've heard of it.
Yes, I have.
Well, okay. So that also comes from the ancient Hebrew language.
Oh, yes, I was aware of that. Yeah, share that. This is great. I love it.
And it means I create as I speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you creating?
What are you speaking? That's right.
What are you saying? This whole past, in the 2000s, we've been talking about being mindfulness,
Right.
mindset. What do you think we're talking about? We're talking about think before you open your mouth. Be
Yes,
mindful
yes.
of the words you are going to say.
Oh my gosh, back in the 80s, I read a book and it was called The Power of the Spoken Word. That really set me on fire with that because I've always looked at myself as being a good listener, right? Because we do have two ears to listen with and we only have one mouth to speak with, right? But when I read that book, it really helped to clarify so many different things. And actually, the recording I did this morning, we were talking about that very same thing about words, and how people respond differently. Some people feel, right? Some people hear. Some people see, right? So it's all these different words, but they're little words. And they're words we use every single day, hundreds of times that we don't even realize. But one word in the midst of a sentence can change everything. Everything. And especially if you come from a different culture or even just different parts of the country, even across town, that one word can mean something completely different.
Beverly, but I found one thing throughout my experiences is there's one word that everyone can connect to, and that's love.
Love. Mm-hmm.
Everyone experiences that word in a positive,
right,
connected way. So even last night, I was on a panel. I was a panelist on a forum that was talking to divorced women, because I've done a lot of work with divorce, having been divorced myself. And this one woman kept saying over and over, I can't. And we sat there and looked at her and said, you're right, you can't. You're absolutely right. Because your words create your reality. Right. And it's very simple. This is what I share. It's very simple. Just before you speak, ask yourself two simple questions. Question number one, are the words I'm going to say, are they going to be for good? Or are the words I'm going to say going to create bad? That's it.
Right.
Let that be your guide. That's it. Is it going to, maybe it's simplistic, good, bad, black and white. But if the words I'm going to say, is it going to create a positive change in the world? Is it good? Are those words going to be alignment?
Are those words going to make you a better you? Are they going to make you a questionable you? Right?
What's your brand? How do you want to be known?
Exactly.
What's the legacy you want to leave behind? And the legacy doesn't have anything to do with leaving trillions and gazillions of dollars to your children. The legacy is when a person is remembered. How are they remembered? Oh, they
remember what you did or what you said. You may not remember your name, but they will remember you by that. And that's the legacy, right?
I say to my 16-year-old right now, who do you want to be known as? Like, think about it. I said, you're going to be doing college applications soon. You've created a brand for yourself. You're going to be asking your high school teachers to write you recommendations. That's your brand.
Yeah, what are they going to say about you, right?
Exactly. And it's not that, I don't want our listeners and viewers to think that we care about what other people think about us. It's what we think about us.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I love that, because I tell all my clients the same thing. It doesn't matter what other people think about you. It matters what you think about you, right? And when you can start living that.
Sleep with yourself at night. Can you sleep with peace in your heart? Can you sleep knowing that the words that came out of your mouth, the actions that you did that day, were for good? You made a difference. Whatever it is, whether you were simple as, like, I love saying how we walk into the supermarket and the woman is wearing a name badge for a reason. So that when you go and check out, you can say, hi, Mary, how are you? How is your day? Not to ignore her, so that when you leave, not only does Mary feel good about herself, like, wow, I matter. She acknowledged me. Wow, that feels so good. But you feel good about yourself because you created light. You created love.
Right. That is so true. So true. And how many times do we go into any store, because they all have their little name badges on, right? And not acknowledge or even talk with them, or just kind of talk down. He's like, hurry up and get me out of here type of thing, right? Because it seems like we're always in a hurry, rush, go. And we stop. It's time to smell the roses, right? It's time to recognize and acknowledge people.
That's what this pandemic has been about. It's about
Yeah.
slowing us down so we can really appreciate what is right and true and what matters.
Yeah.
Is that person in the supermarket who's checking me out, that person is putting their life on the line so that I can get a bottle of milk. I'm going to appreciate that person. It's really fundamental.
You know, and again, I think, you know, too, that's a great point that you made there. It's learning how to honor yourself so that you can honor others, right? And give them the respect. Because if you're asking for respect here from others, then you better be out there and be a product of that respect as well, right? You know, so again, what you give to others is what you're going to get back. And you can't give to someone else more than what you've already given to yourself. So you better have your own cup full before you go out here and start spilling it over. Because you talked about love. And love is the key thing, because love will conquer, because it's that higher vibration. You know, so if you only love yourself 70%, there's no way you can go out there and love anyone else in the world 100%, because you don't have it to give, right?
And it all begins here at home. This is where it begins. So it's not easy, but it is the most rewarding work I've ever done. It's what I've turned my life into. This is what I do. This is my purpose, my mission, my passion, and I'm constantly in this space of how can I be the best person I can be?
Right.
Because I'll if how much time do we have left, Beverly?
Well, let's see, maybe 10 minutes.
All right. If you will allow, I'll share where this burning drive comes from.
Sure.
When I was 8 years old, when I was younger, my dad, it's really funny because he always wanted to be a vet. So what happens, he meets my mom when he's like 23 years old, she's 16 or he's 22. And he waited till she was 18, and his dad said to him, his dad had a business, and he said, if you want to get married, because that's what they did, right? Mm-hmm. But you're gonna have to support your family. He said, so you either get married and go into the family business, start working, or you go to vet school. He says, but you're not gonna have both. I can't support a family and vet school. You need to make a choice. So he chose my mom. Thank God I'm here. Woo. But it was a big price he paid, because his whole life, all he tried to do was to find a way to stay connected to animals. Mm-hmm. I just, like, when I'm looking back, when I was 2 years old, he bought his first horse. When I was 3 years old, he bought the second horse. When I was 8 years old, we moved to a farm. When I was 16 years old, my mom said, I'm the oldest, and my mom said, listen, I don't want your daughter to go boarding, university, like going back to the city. And when we moved back to the city, he was so depressed. What did he do? He went and bought a pet store, because he had to still be with the animals.
Right.
I saw a person, the message that is like burned into my brain is, you can't run away from your calling. You can't run away from your calling.
No. And you can't run away from yourself either, you know? So, right.
And then what happened, fast forward, I'm 26 years old. He goes bankrupt and he moves. I'm at this point living in Florida, and he asks me if he wants to start over at the ripe young age of 52. And he asks me if he can come live with me for a little bit, and he's going to start all over. I'm like, oh my God, okay, for sure. He moves down, and within 2 weeks, he drops dead in my house.
Oh no.
Yeah. I found him dead on the floor. I had to make arrangements to ship the body back to my mom. And at that moment, that was a big wake-up call. And I just realized I need to live the life that lights me up.
Right.
I can't live somebody else's life. And I got a divorce with a 3-year-old. I got the kid, he got the business. We had a very successful design firm. Sorry about that. And I just, at that moment in my life, I just started over. I was 35. And I said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to find a way, because watching my father go through his many reincarnations and fighting and fighting and fighting to still, he couldn't run away from that calling.
Right.
I said, time to surrender to mine.
That's a great message. I got chills all over. It's like, wow. And it's so true. It's so true. Most of us, out here are staying in a job just because it's a paycheck, but it's not their passion. They might not know what it is, but some do, some don't. But I think this pandemic of being isolated has really, it's had two folds, right? Being able to go inward to find out what really is your passion. What is it that you want? What's that dream? What's that thing that gets you up every morning to go out and do what you want to do, And I changed my world when I was like 24. And kind of similar to what you're saying, I was not living the life of my dreams. I was a rebel, and I had sex one time. I got pregnant, and I was not going to be told what or what not to do. And when my mom says, you don't have to get married, well, what did I do? And then bing, bing, I had 2 more kids, so my kids were just barely a year apart. It's like sex 3 times, 3 kids. No, this isn't the life I'm supposed to be living. This is not how it was supposed to be, because, I had big dreams, I was in a dead-end marriage. There wasn't love in this marriage. It was just there because of rebel. And I grew up as second oldest of 11. So I knew I was going to be responsible for my kids, because mom and dad were definitely not going to help take care of them, because as my dad said, you're going to have kids, and it's like, mom had 11 of us, right? I'm not going down that road. And so I knew, like you said, I had to really get my act together to be able to take my kids and be what I wanted to be. And that was a huge decision. And that was in the 70s. And it took me, I had my time, that growth, finding me, living my life, and for me and my kids. And it got me into some of the work that I'm doing now. And it was great. And I left Iowa on farm country, right? Out to the big city of...
Love my living on the farm.
Yeah.
Love it.
And, now I was in Denver, Colorado, and it's like, okay, where do I go from here? And, one thing just came because I was not giving up. And the kids were my saving grace, It's probably like your daughter, That's what kept you getting up every day and kept you going forward to make a difference, to be out there where that passion is and do it. At the time when I left Iowa, I really didn't know what my passion was, but I knew what it wasn't, and I was going to just keep on going to get till I found it.
The first step, Beverly, is to know what it isn't. I think it truly is. You first know what it isn't, and then the message I really want to leave with people is it's okay. I mean, most people wake up, know that you have a purpose, a greater than purpose that's connected to your highest self.
Right.
And if you don't know what it is, it's okay, because that's the journey of life.
And it's that moving forward, right? It's keep on moving, keep on going, and it'll show up. The more you push the things that you're not, the things you are shows up.
It's so true. Be laser focused on that. Yeah. It's okay. I know. Like I say to people, using the word as the guide, I keep saying, just keep saying to yourself, I know I have a greater than purpose. I know I have a greater than purpose. Yes. And you will attract it just by saying that.
Yes.
I know I have a greater than purpose. You will keep attracting that and attracting it. And so many beautiful doors will open up. I never thought in a trillion, gazillion, billions of years that I would be sitting here doing what I'm doing with my life.
Right.
Never.
Right.
Never.
It's just, and you learn to move and roll with the flow of it, and get in touch with yourself, get you in touch with your intuition, get you in touch with that divine wisdom that you spoke of early on in the show, right? Because that's where all knowledge and wisdom lies, is in that divine intelligence. And it's tap into it. We all have the ability to tap into it when we get out of our own way. Like you say, get rid of that ego thing, right? So,
Most people don't want to go there.
Yeah.
That is the place. When I got divorced, I had to go to that place. And I also went to the traditional place. I went back to college, studied educational leadership, but also studied divine intelligence for 26 years. I found such an incredible balance between the two. Everybody believes, whether they think about it or not, in a greater than power.
Right.
We all know that it exists. How we express it and what our relationship is to it, that's personal.
That's personal. Exactly.
Between you and that higher purpose. But here's the thing, that when people say to me, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in a higher power. It's all bullshit. I'm the one who creates everything. There's nothing out there. And I just like look at them and I go, yeah. But when you're in the foxhole and the bullets are coming at you, who do you pray to?
Just chills again. But that's so true. That's so true. So when it comes down to it, it's there.
That's why they call me the warrior coach, because I don't take no crap.
And that's a good thing, because
I don't take no crap. It is what it is.
In buffering someone, it's that tough love thing, right? When you buffer, you're enabling, and that's not doing anyone any good. And it's like, this is the way it is. If you want the truth, that's not going to taste good, smell good, feel good. Okay, let's go for it. I promise you, when you get on the other side, you'll be happy. That I can guarantee.
And hopefully, please God, you'll be able to be surrounded by with people who deliver the message with love.
Yeah, and exactly, and have that support, because that's important too. And I think right now in the way the world has gone, that support is been a key thing that people are missing, too. So hopefully that's coming back, and it's taking women, nothing against the guys, but the nurturing of the whole planet is that feminine energy. And that's...
Ooh, don't get me started on that.
That's right. We'll save that one for the next show, right? We'll save that one for the next show.
We are going to definitely talk about that, because the women right now are here to heal the world.
Exactly. It's just exactly what I was going to say, because we are coming together in a unison like none before. And we are like 8 to 1 in population.
All right, next show, Beverly, you and me on this one.
You got it. That's a deal. High five. Okay.
High five. We're going down that road for sure.
Yes, definitely. Oh gosh, for now we could just keep on going forever here. This has been great, Anna. It's been great. People want to get your book. Where can they go get it?
Okay, so for your viewers and the people who are watching me right now on Facebook, I am giving people the first 3 chapters of my book free. Ooh. All they have to do is email me at goodtobetter, the number's 2020@gmail.com. So cool. You can put that in your
We'll put that in. Yeah, we'll put that in up on top.
And I'm also, to anybody who is interested in, they want to talk more, they want to learn more, they want to connect more, I would be really happy. I offer a free 30-minute discovery call. I have a Calendly link. I can share that with you as well. And they can just connect with me. We can talk, because you know what? We're in this together. And that personal connection is so, so important. You can follow me on Facebook, Anne Shoshana Deakter. Go to my website, anneshoshanadaakter.com. Infinite number of opportunities to make that connection.
Awesome. And they've got your email. We'll put that up on top. So if you want any of the other things that she's talking about, just write that in there, right? And so don't be afraid to reach out to either one of us, because you know what? We may end up collaborating with something, because we're on this mission. And if you got value out of this conversation today, please comment below, because if you don't tell us, we don't know, right?
So true. But even if you don't tell me, I'm still going to keep doing it.
That's right. We're not going to quit.
That's right.
That's right. So it's time to go out there, be that best you that you can be, because Anna and I are going to be the best we that we can be. Thank you again so much for being on the show. And we will be back to talk about the rest of the story on another show. Thank you, everyone. See you on another show. Bye-bye.